Hey Zelda fans, welcome back to episode 6, Breath of the Wild Let's Play. I am Kaepora, and last time we got all the way to Proxim Bridge. There are some things on here that you can't really tell where you are until you save your game. Like the name of the bridge. I don't know that it shows up anywhere else except for when you save. When you save, you'll always have an area noted somehow, like what shrine you're in or whatever. The Proxim Bridge. Maybe it does show up as soon as you get to the area. Does it show up on your map? I guess I don't have a map yet. We're gonna fix that. So, right. Oh, something I forgot to do before. Back here where I died that time, a long time ago, there's another Korok thing I forgot to mess with. So, we're gonna go get this tower, because I'm tired of not having a map. Here's another dead guardian we can get a piece off of. Hey, there's a goat. We got some keys. I think I said before, but these guys only come out at night. They're super weak, but occasionally you run into them in swarms, and they're super annoying. There's your Rock, and oh, Scald problem. He was waiting for me to turn around. Clever. Gotta stop doing that. See, if you just shield, it'll reflect back. But, what you want to do is that. So there's some current here, so there's a chance I might not make it back and die. It's pretty shallow here, I should be okay. But if I wanted to fix that, if I didn't want to worry about that, I would do something like this. And I told you, once you get the paraglider, it's a lot easier. You can just go so much further. There are green things over there. Those are a collectible snail. So we need to get some of those. Those are really easy to see in the dark. During the day, they don't glow, obviously. But in a couple of places in Hyrule, they are there in the water and they show up real easy. So it's not usually too terribly difficult to find them. Got me some chew jelly. And look, there's just this broken down remains of a burnt building somehow, some way, shape, or form. Just a cool little addition that really has nothing to do with anything. There's another one of those. Oh, cool. You can see in the background that this guy right here looks like a horse head. Just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. That is a guidepost. We'll get to one of those here in a minute. We're going to see all of those because there's always a shrine nearby and we want to get all the shrines. I think there was one of those. I didn't get to the very end of... It was like my last shrine in the first game that I did. No. I was hoping I could catch that fish. I don't think you can catch fish like this. You can do this if you want to be a jerk about stuff. It should catch the current. Come down a little bit, see it floats there. And those guys on the top died. So now I can do crayons on them because they're on the surface. And I don't actually have to get into the water in order to catch the fish. Some of these fish are kind of rare. You only see them in a handful of spots. And they only show up in like 2s and 3s. So you have to wait for them to like respawn if you're trying to farm a bunch of them. And it can get kind of annoying. So in general, just like everything else I've been saying, pick up everything you can whenever you can. You're not going to hurt anything by having extra of this inventory. These guys are happy. There's a chest back there. And we got our scout. Do I have... Nope. See, he still doesn't... I think the mask is helping me out a little bit here. So, I guess, whenever you've got your bow out, your D-pad stuff changes. So normally, if I've got a weapon out, or if I've got nothing, your D-pads are, your weapons are your right, your top is your rune, and your left is your shield. But if you've got your bow out, your right is your bows, and the left is your arrows. So you can swap those guys pretty fast. I can definitely take this guy out with this guy. There we go. Oh, jeez. There's like no range on these. Ah. Sucker. So I've got some metal crates here, and that affords me a different opportunity if I want to. I'd like to kind of thin their ranks a little bit, because what I'm about to do usually doesn't work unless it's just the one. They're eating something. Okay, look, he's dead. They're like all super excited and surprised, and they're going over and they're going to pick up their stuff. Well, I got... These crates can be destroyed, for sure. But what I'm trying to do with them, I don't know if I can do it without them, like... What? Flurry rush. Because I pulled back at the right second. I wasn't even targeting the guy that actually tried to hit me. So if you've got multiple people trying to kill you, you can still be dodging and taking advantage of that flurry rush. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Pick up his bat. Usually you shouldn't be spending more weapons on a little encampment like this than you're going to be getting. More often than not, everything in there should have a weapon of some sort. Blue rupees! There are several different kinds of rupees in this game. Ever since rupees started. So the very first game, there were multiple different kinds of rupees, because how annoying would it be if you had to go around and pick up a single rupee every time? Just be awful. But basically there's a green rupee, which is 1, there's a blue rupee, which is 5, there's a red rupee, which is 20. There is a gold rupee and a silver rupee, and I don't think there's a 10 in this game. Some games have a 10 rupee, which is like a yellow color, usually. Trying to find... That's not gonna help me. Well, I know I saw it, but it's not that important. Anyway, rupees are good. Hold them, keep them, love them, etc. I think my shield's about to break. Notice I've only got 4 shield slots. That's kind of fair, because realistically speaking, you're not going to be using shields as much as weapons for sure. And you've got fewer bow slots than weapons, but more than shields. You can get a ton of shields. By the end of the game, you've got a bunch that you will never use, just because they're pretty. Just like the other crates, the wooden crates, you can blow these up, and sometimes they have some good stuff in them. Sometimes they don't have anything in them. But there's... Ooh. blackened crab. So obviously you can catch crabs too, and you can roast those in addition to the meat and the fish. You don't actually pick up rupees, you just walk over them and they get picked up automatically, which is kind of nice. I don't know that there's a reason why you wouldn't necessarily want to pick up everything except for weapons that you come across, because obviously there's inventory slot issues, but for whatever reason they decided that that was the way that they wanted to do pickups. Let's see what's in this chest. It's an opal, so it's alright. For a low level, whatever, it's fine. It is technically raining right now. It's not gonna let me climb that. There's not technically a surface there. I want to show this off a little bit. I guess because I'm under the... oh, there it is. Yeah. So, whenever it's raining, like it is right now, and you try and climb something, you're going to slip every once in a while. So, it basically makes you about a third as efficient at climbing as you were before, like in dry situations, scenarios. I mean, that's just pretty right there. Look at that. That's this giant tree that fell over and then hollowed out, bifurcated, trifurcated, forfurcated, whatever that word is. But it's suspicious, so we're going to go in and investigate. Also, there's a goat. There was a goat before, but we didn't really talk about it. Goats are, they'll kind of rush you sometimes, but most of the time, they're not really, you know, they're not going to try and kill you or anything. They're kind of like boars. Okay, so, you got the bird. We've seen those before. You've got your shrooms. You've seen those before. This is different, though. This is special. See that? There's a little bit of Korok magic happening here. So we gotta find this. We gotta... oh no, boulder. It's not really doing anything. It's not hurting nobody. Ooh, nightshade. Increase your stealth. This is another thing I need for my stealth suit. So yeah, this is one of those Korok puzzles. Yep, see there's a new one that popped up. Every time you touch it, a new one pops up until you get to the last one, then it turns white. Yep, there's the last one. There's white. Da-da-da-da. So yeah, there you go. Just a little excursion into something different, and you get a Korok seed. There's a lot of little differences in this world, and there are a lot of Korok seeds. This is a kind of a cool hill. I can show you something neat, if I remember how to do it. Pull your shield, you jump, you press A, and you do this surfing thing. It's pretty cool. You don't use it a lot, and it decreases the durability of your shield. But it's kind of cool. There's a couple of things in the game that require it. Oh, grasshopper. I need some of these. Restless cricket. Sorry, not grasshoppers. I call them grasshoppers because, well, Link has been associated to a grasshopper before in Majora's Mask, of course, and a handful of other miscellaneous things. Hey, look, there's this hole. There's this rock next to it. I wonder what we should do here. I gotta be careful. If you really mess up, you can use status to move this better, but rock goes in the hole. The Korok seed. So awesome. Just little pieces of awesome all over the place. There's a campfire over there, which is kind of interesting. And there's an encampment over here, and we need to get to that tower, so why don't we just try and do this encampment? Sneak up on these guys. Don't think I can... You know what might be a good opportunity is... Let's do this. So if you've got a fire arrow, you're not going to set your own stuff on fire unless you shoot it at something that's right next to you that catches on fire. Just look at that. That's fantastic. And then you've only got the blue guy left, and he's trying to get a something. What the hell is he doing? Oh, he didn't even know I was there. I could have snuck up on him. Soldier's Broadsword. Yeah, Soldier is the next level up after Travelers. So in general, there's a handful of different types of weapons. I already told you about the levels of the Boko stuff. The standard one, and then the spiked one, and then the dragon bone one. But there's also a so like your man-made weapons, your Hylian weapons specifically. You've got your Traveler's level, your Soldier's level, your Knight's level, your Royal level, and then there's a what's it called? A Dark Royal level or something like that. You know, Soldiers is pretty good. They're not bad for sure. Eventually, you start just eating up royal stuff all over the place, and that's what you keep all the time. But those are just your generic Hylian weapons. Sometimes, you know, the Boko Dragon's Bone Club is going to be better than the Traveler's Hylian, you know, equivalent. So you gotta feel it out, and depending on what you're playing with and what your preference is. Soldier's Shield. The Guards of Hyrule Castle. Its core is made of wood, so it can still catch fire. And my inventory's full. This is about to die anyway, so let's get rid of this guy. Yeah, these numbers here are helpful, but they get kind of crazy eventually. I want to say, well, your actual factual, where is it? The Hylian shield, the one that Link always has in all the other games, has a durability of, what am I looking at here? Is this the parry power that's being displayed? Soldier's Shield has a durability of 16, a parry power of 16, but that doesn't help me. What's the other one that I've got? The Spiked Boko Shield has a durability of 7 and a parry power of 10. So this is showing me the parry power, which is kind of useless in this case. I don't know. It's all right. It's a generic. It's basically the same thing, but your durability is the one that arguably needs to be noted the highest. Well, maybe that's not true. Anyway, your Hylian shield is the best shield in the game, and that has a durability of 800 and a parry power of 90. So this little number here gets up to 90 on these shields. I think that's the best one anyway. Pretty sure that's your go-to best of the world kind of thing. And it is it's tricky to find. It was pretty cool when I found it. I didn't think it was in the game because the one I found was in the castle. I think that's the only place. Yeah, I think that's the only place you can get it. So you're not going to see it for a while, which is fine. You don't need it for a long time anyway. By that point, you almost never use shields. There's a skull for encampment over there. But we need to get this tower. And the Mighty Carp. The compound in its liver promotes muscle growth, and you can use it to increase your attack power. Yeah, all good stuff. Egrets, that's what those are called. we'll get an ability here in a little bit that lets us tag or take pictures of creatures, and subsequently you can learn some stuff about them. Hey, look, there's one of those flowers again. Now, where's the next one? Oh, it's over here. This will be fun. Some of these are tricky. They will actively try and trick you. But if you lose sight of it, after a while it'll just respawn. The first one will respawn and you can start over. So it's not the end of the world. Not like that stupid boulder one. I think I have a way around that now that I thought about it for a little while, but I'm gonna have to revisit it once I get more boulders. Korok. Korok, Korok. So I am not 100% sure that each one of these Koroks is unique. I want to say that, you know, there's probably like 20 or 30 different kinds, such that you wouldn't necessarily ever know that they're the same. But there are a ton of these in the game, and it would be very impressive if each one of them was unique. I haven't checked on that yet. I'll make a note to look that up. Got a handful of notes already that I need to be looking up. Dueling Peaks Tower. It's called Dueling Peaks because there's two different peaks, or it's just one mountain with a giant hole through it. This is always kind of fun. Once you get stamina, it's not a problem, but all these towers are more or less the same height, and there's always this little bit of climbing for whatever reason. It is what it is. It's fine. We love our towers, so we're happy to work for it. Just wait. Stamina. There we go. Boop. 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 There we go. Fantastic. How does he know which way to put that tablet in? You could easily put it in the other way. There's no mistake proof in there. Alright, tower number 2. Little splash. Be cool if we could transfer information via liquids. So you can see all that little detail. You kind of know what's on the other side of the mountains. You know, you could follow the king told you to go east until the road started going north, and that lines up with your dot. So those are all roads that you can follow, and it's easy to understand what you're looking at. You can see a bunch of, you know, weird looking random things that might be interesting to investigate. Sheikah sensor. So this is not a rune per se. This is something that's always on in the background, and when you're close to shrines that you haven't messed with yet, because otherwise that would just be crazy annoying, it'll beep more and louder whenever you get closer to them. But it's in 3 dimensions, so if you're looking left and right and you're not finding it, it might be up or down, basically. So I've done that several times where I was exactly where I was supposed to be, but it was actually in a cave underneath me, you know, 200 feet or whatever a ways. Yeah, there you go. So that's a really handy way to find shrines. See, there's already a shrine nearby, and I'm going in the right direction because it's getting louder. If I go the other direction, it doesn't do anything. And this way it says it's good. This way it says nothing. This way it says kinda. There's 2 shrines up there, and then there's another shrine back here, and I think it's reacting to the one down here. Because we are not going up there, up to the top yet. There are a lot easier ways to get there, and we just need to We don't need those shrines just yet. So, I kind of want to keep going. We can always come back for encampments. I'll show you where the shrine is. On the way, we can get some precious ore. So because this is kind of up in the air, even if I had an iron sledgehammer, it wouldn't be super useful. So I'm going to blow it up. After I get a set distance away, of course. Rock salt, and then, did I drop something else? Yes. Flint. Ah, crap. See, you gotta be super careful with this. I thought I was just outside of the range, and I was not. But should be an easy thing to get back to. Should have auto-saved right after I did the tower thing. Just do it again. Infinite possibilities. Once you play some Souls games, you don't worry so much about dying in games. You just kind of get used to it. It's just part of life. Dying is just part of life. And, oh, there it is. Okay, I'll put it down. Nope. I'm not gonna put it down. Apparently. We want to throw it real bad. Especially for hills and stuff, I prefer not using the ball bomb because it rolls too much. But when you can get it stuck in a spot like that, it's not a big deal. There's my Korok. There's an Octorok. I should be out of range for an Octorok down there. There was a note in the Octorok, the artist page, and you can see that little thing on top of his head, not the grass, but just underneath it, that little purple thing. It's actually like 4 little arms, and that's how they explain. They basically pick up stuff randomly in the world, and they hold on to them, and they use them for camouflage. They're not super great at camouflage, but it's better than nothing. So you'll see them with all sorts of stuff on their heads. The chests are really funny. Let me take care of this. Alright. So, I realized later that at that first ice Korok thing that I starred back on the plateau, that I could have created fire with my fire arrows. I didn't think about that at the time. You can see the white little wisps across the screen. That means that there is wind sufficient to do stuff. So it will actively affect the way that you paraglide. It'll affect your bombs. So you just went straight down, and then it's moving to the left. If you don't see the wisps, you're probably not going to be affected too much by wind. But just a tidbit of info from the shrine. Dai. Some of these names, I have no idea how they came up with them. Bottomless bog. Yeah, we saw that. We almost died. timing is critical. So some of these, they'll give you it's kind of like a hint at what you need to do. See, there's a button. Just pressed it. And then something happens. Something good. It's that you've solved it music. I love that music. It happens a lot in this game. So, I think... I guess I don't know that I need this, but I don't like to leave stuff behind if I don't have to. Otherwise you gotta go back and then just all this extra work. So, I can see the monk, I can see a treasure chest, I can see some random barrels over on the side. Obviously I need to get that ball into that thing. Nope, that didn't work. This is one of those that takes me a while, I think. You gotta do it like right at the last possible second. But it'll let you just keep going forever if you want to. Nope. I get it. This is happening. Ah, so close. Come on. I got this. It's happening. Man. Some of these take me a while. But they're not terribly hard to re-trigger, so it's just really a matter of time once you know kind of what you're supposed to do. There we go. And it left without me. Come back! I can't jump that far. I don't need this anymore. Well, no. I don't think so anyway. But I do need that chest. And I do need... Oh, that's right. Metal barrel. You can tell from the blue dot where it's going to land if I just put it down. Oh yes, Climber's Bandana. So this is an actual very useful item. It's headgear. It enhances your... Well, it doesn't really enhance this part. It basically just makes your climbing ability better. And since it gives you more armor, it's an upgrade for what I'm using now. There are, for these kinds of things, so the Climber's Bandana, and, well, in general, most of these armors are sets. They come in, 3 different parts. You've got a headgear, you've got a torso part, and you've got pants. Or shoe, or, whatever. The doublet is kind of its own thing. It doesn't have anything special. The old shirt and the well-worn trousers are kind of a pair, but there's no hat. Majora's Mask is special. It has its own thing. There are several masks and helmets that are unique, just like this shirt. There's no pair for that. But there are 3 of these, and once you get all 3 of them, their powers kind of stack and give you like this ultimate climbing ability, which is super handy. I think there's a ladder over here. Yep, fantastic. So basically it just means that every time you climb, it's taking less stamina. And whenever you jump, it's taking less stamina. Not a whole lot less. It's only 1 tier. So it's helping out a little bit, but it's not, you're not going to climb a whole big mountain with 1 row, or 1 ring of stamina. This monk's got his ring kind of floating in between his hands. It's another random. How do you do that? How do you meditate with something like that and then, I don't know. Fire chews. They explode and start a fire. Yep, that's true. You gotta watch out for fires. Fire chews. Frost chews explode and they freeze stuff. Shock chews, or lightning chews, I can't remember what they're called, explode and shock stuff. Because, you know, they're elementals. Okay, we haven't seen these guys before. These are Lizalfos. They've been in several games. They're basically lizards, but they have, they swim really well. I said the bokoblins and the moblins, they don't swim at all. But these guys swim real well. And they have a camouflage ability. So sometimes you'll just see, like, their tongue. I think the tongue is the only thing that doesn't camouflage. Sometimes you'll just see a tongue hanging out, like, on the side of a wall. And you can kind of see them. It's like, you know, the Predator from the old Predator movies. You can kind of see the outline. If you're not paying attention, you won't necessarily notice them. But if you're paying attention, you should be able to know where they are. They have their own set of weapons. They use some metal stuff in their weapons, so they're usually a little bit better than bokoblin stuff. Oh no. Let's go help this person. I'll take you down, and then they just ran away. Is that all it takes? Really? I guess that's all it takes. Man, this is a badass right here. Alright. Man, they ran away. That's almost... That never happens. The Lizalfos' critical spot is their horn in the front. So if you shoot them in the horn, it does a whole bunch of damage to them. I don't need to fight them right now. And in the water, it's never really a good idea to fight them. They can shoot you from long range with water bullets, kinda. Shrine nearby. Yeah, it's over that ways. But I'm going this ways. So in general, if they are in water, or if water is right, you know, near where you would be fighting, there's not a whole lot of reason to fight them. Unless you really have to. Sometimes you need to farm for their parts. But they will mess you up if you are in water. They're a lot stronger in water. On the land, they're not bad. They're similar to bokoblins. They usually carry spears, so they've got that extra range, or they've got like an upgraded bow set. Like I said, they use metal in a lot of their stuff, which usually makes it better. Some of the dragon bone stuff from the bokoblins is pretty good. There's just this random pole with a big old ladder on it and a platform at the top, and I'm pretty sure I saw a chest up there. Nope. I'm gonna get this. Got me some key swings. Got me some fangs and some horns. And now we're just going to go up here. Ladders do not consume stamina. So you can just jump as much as you want, and then rest, and then jump, and then jump. Ladders are great. You don't see them too terribly often where you need them, but they're still pretty great. It wasn't a chest, it was a crate. It's kind of annoying. That's alright. Still got the exploration thing. Big Twin Bridge. So there's a sign over here. Whoa, this is different. Kind of got caught in the middle of the air. I think I can read this. Let's see. Big Twin Bridge, Little Twin Bridge. So there are a ton of different languages in the Zelda universe in general, and I'm curious if any of the ones from the past link up with this one. So I can check my compendium of crazy stuff. $76. Hold on. Alright, so there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 official languages, and they're actual languages. So they're either based off of the English alphabet or they're based off of the Japanese alphabet. Most of them, I guess 3 out of the 5 are English, but I'm trying to figure out if any of these show up. That triangle with a line underneath, that's pretty distinctive. I'm not really seeing one. I don't know that this is a copy of the other ones. So maybe this is a new one. Anyway, good to know. Checking it out. We want to go this way. So this is one of those outposts that I was talking about, the guidepost, the travelers. Well, we'll get to it in a second. And there's there's a shrine right next to it. So all of these guideposts will have shrines relatively close, which makes them great little spots to hang out in every once in a while. You got people there, you've got horse capabilities. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to do this shrine first to unlock stuff. So I can't just walk up to it because there's big old spikes on it. So there are a lot of different opportunities, or a lot of different ways to do this. Just like everything else in this game, there's almost never just one way to do something. If you want to get creative about it, you can spend a whole lot of time doing different stuff. Yep. Okay. I don't think anything fell. Oh, well. Oh, it's over here. Amber, you are almost not worth picking up. Eventually you'll be helpful, but... So I think I can just do this. Dahamar. Yep. Those are also... I want to say you can burn those, and you can explode those. Let's just try exploding those real quick. Since I've got my bombs hanging out. Nope. Can I burn them? They're in the water, so... Nope. Okay, well... maybe there are some other things you can do. Fortunately, after... Huh. Fortunately, after the shrine gets done, those spikes won't be there anymore. So every time we warp to that shrine, we won't have to worry about the water guides. So whenever we got our Cryonis, I mentioned that the water doesn't have to be on the ground in order for this to work, and we didn't get an opportunity to show that. So we've got this, which is what we were seeing before, but we can also do this, which is kind of cool, because you got this waterfall, and then you've got this thing just hanging out in space coming off of it. So that's super handy in a lot of different ways. It's a little bit trickier to use, because you got to think of it in another dimension, but still pretty cool. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it closer. And I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be further away. Purple rupee. Oh, I didn't talk about purples. Purples are 50. So they're great. And I'm pretty sure... Well, I can't remember. I think there is a max you can hold on to rupee-wise. I don't remember getting to it and staying at it very long. But I'm pretty sure there is a max. It's not nearly... It's like thousands of rupees. It's not like you have to... Other games make you get different wallets, like in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. You had to collect different wallets, or you could only hold like 99 rupees at a time. This one's kind of tricky, because you have to think... You have to think in different ways, and then you only get 3 of these. So, let's say something like that, maybe? Because, you know, if I had 30 of these, I could make a line of those things where it would just crash into one and then it would get carried by all the other ones. But with this style, you gotta use the environment. Make sure I got the chest that they want me to get. Rupees are always acceptable in chests. Eventually, you start not liking the weapons that are in there because they're not usually as good as the ones you already have, and you just have to kind of force swap them out if you want to get credit for the chest. Again, it's nothing that's holding you back from anything, but I just like knowing that I've done everything I can. Throwing weapons. Yep, double damage. See, I got 14 Korok seeds and 67 rupees. The numbers just keep going up. Here I get one more shrine, I'll be able to turn it in for another stamina piece. Ah, spikes are gone. Some water here. Sometimes there are frogs in this pond. But look, people. Ah, Beetle. Beetle shows up in some other games too. I want to say the first time he was named Beetle. Let's see. He was definitely in Skyward Sword, and he was in... Was he in Twilight Princess? I don't know that he was. But he was in the Wind Waker. Was the first thing that I remember him being there. His unique, you know, his triangle nose and different colored, and in Wind Waker, I don't think they talk about him having a deep love for beetles, but in Skyward Sword he talks about it, and then this one, obviously, you can look at his backpack. You'll find me traveling all over Hyrule. Yeah. He doesn't go very far away from these posts, these travelers' guideposts or whatever, but he's like at every single one of them with different stuff. Yeah, fair price. Gemstones in particular, so this is them telling you should be selling your gemstones. So you can sell stuff, you can buy stuff. He's got, if you have a handful of different items whenever you talk to him, he'll start the conversation by trying to buy it from you, or he actually trades stuff. So like if you've got a special beetle, he'll try and swap you for something or whatever. Most of the time I haven't really found it to be worthwhile, but sometimes, you know, if you've got extras. I don't have any rupees right now, so I don't really want to spend anything, but having access to these like arrows, especially these guys, crickets and frogs, it's a lot easier if you've got a bunch of rupees eventually to buy these, if you know where they are, then try and hunt them down sometimes. It's not hard to find crickets or frogs. but sometimes it's time consuming and you have to have the right weather conditions and all that stuff. So towards the end of the game, when I need a bunch of a particular item, this is usually a good way to go. I'm good. Yeah, so he's just gonna kind of walk around, and if I ever come back here, he'll be here, just waiting. Let's talk to her. Sagessa. Yeah, how peaceful it is. I got attacked by monsters like every 10 minutes. Yep. So she's teaching you a lot about elixirs. Trying to catch you up on, because we've covered cooking, but we haven't talked about elixirs yet. Elixirs are typically your living creature ingredients, so your frogs and your lizards and your butterflies and monster parts. Aw, she's so nice. So this is your low level. This would basically be like one hot-footed frog and one piece of monster stuff, and it gives you a low level haste effect. So you're faster doing all those things for 2 minutes and 10 seconds. The level of haste changes, and the time changes depending on what you put in there and how many of it you put in there. So like with the cooking, you can only put 5 ingredients in at a time, which means that you have to maximize it with either better materials or more of a particular kind of material. So yeah, this is just a hightail lizard and monster parts. She's always got a bunch. I almost never use these things, but they can come in handy in certain aspects. I took an apple. Apparently, anything lying around here is up for grabs. That's good to know. I was going to take them anyway, but it's good to know. Just take everything. Hey, look, a pitchfork. There are some funny little weapons in here that are not, like, traditional weapons, but this is better than what I've got right now, so I'm just going to take it. Now, it's not going to be, like, super durable or anything, but... Oh, man, chickens. Okay. Anyone who's played Ocarina of Time knows that you don't jack with chickens. They will mess you up. Just leave them alone. You'll be fine. Aww. Twins. Darton and Shibo. I'm interested in horses. Judging from his eyes, he's just itching to get into the saddle. This is true. He's got eyes that say, like, nothing in this world matters to me except horses. Those are exactly my eyes. How did they know? How can they see inside my brain? Ah. Dueling Peace Stables. Okay, I guess they call them stables. So they're going to teach you a little bit about horses. I do want to hear some tips. Dad jokes. Dad jokes extend to all parts of the world, apparently. They're not just an English thing. So they're going to teach you about wild horses and how to not make them wild anymore. You don't want to fight horses. You can. You don't want to do that, though. That's not right. So they usually show up in the wild in groups of 2 to 5, I think-ish. Usually you'll see like 3 of them together. And you basically just, what they're saying, you sneak up on them and you jump on them. Yep, crouching. And then they'll try and buck you off. So if you don't have enough stamina to hold on to them or sit on top of them and hang out for a little while, they'll kick you off and you'll have to start over. They'll run away in that time, so you'll have to find them again. So spots on them are even-tempered and easy to train. Single-colored horses are harder to train, but usually have better stats. So in general, the speckled ones are usually going to be your first ones, because they're just, at this level of stamina, you probably can take a speckled one real easy, and it's really good to have one no matter what, even if it's not like the best horse in the world, which you're not going to find for a while anyway, unless you do what, you know, you've got a little cheat version like I do. Yeah. When I grow up, I'm gonna try a one-colored horse. I did get that. Just leave the horsing around to us. How do I train one? So yeah, even after you catch them and hang on to them for a little while, you still have to raise their affinity to you. So there's a soothing thing that you can do. Soothe them when they do what you want them to do. It's kind of awkward. It's not like, you know, it's not like they give you the option to soothe it whenever you do something specific. It's always an option that you can be using, but if you do it constantly, it doesn't work as well. In general, they tend to level up pretty quick. Another way you can get a whole bunch of affinity relatively quickly is by feeding them. They don't have to eat, but they appreciate it when you feed them. Speaking of feeding things, there's a dog. He's so cute. I think I have some meat. Here. I'm just gonna hold this meat. Hold this meat out in front of him. Come on. You know you won't. See? That thing? That little pink thing? That means that he likes me. That's the same thing horses do. Why didn't you eat the meat, though? I don't understand why you don't. He should be eating it out of my hand. What am I doing wrong here? Maybe you don't like bird stuff? What else do I have? I guess I could give you a fish. I kind of need those for stuff later. I only have one piece of meat. I guess I only killed one thing. Alright, here's a Hyrule bass. Are you gonna eat this? I think he prefers, like, animal meat to, like, bird meat. But in general, he's happy. If you make him, you know, if you can actually, just adorable. If you can actually, give him something, he's following me around right now. Eventually, some of these guys in certain places in the world will point you towards, like, treasure. Treasure that doesn't show up until you've befriended the dog. Aww. These guys are so docile. They're so just hanging out, just enjoying the world. They could leave anytime they wanted to, but they don't. Just great. So you got a woodcutter's axe. Do I still have my... I'll get a new one. Since they're... anything that's in this camp, well, anything at all, really, that you find in the world, but having something at a camp that, like a weapon like that, it'll respawn eventually, so it's good to, you know, you run out of an axe, you know where an axe is if you want to come back. Odds are good by the time you need another one for something specific, it'll be respawned. Restless crickets. Don't mess with that chicken. This is Hino. He watches the moon. Yeah, so Blood Moon is really cool, and we haven't seen one yet. Every so often, when the night, yeah, at midnight, the sky turns blah 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 blah. Monsters that have been previously defeated will come back to life. So that's your Blood Moon. And it's a thing, too. There's a cutscene every time it happens. So if you're not... It doesn't happen every night, obviously. It's only like once a month, basically. But there's a hidden counter in the background of the game that's basically telling you when another blood moon is going to happen. My buddy, who is a lot smarter than me, was explaining this to me. But basically, it's a way for the game to reset its cache. So as you're going through the world, killing monsters, destroying stuff, you know, taking stuff, moving stuff around, the game is adding all this memory into its system. And whenever the blood moon comes through, it resets everything. So your monsters will come back, your items will come back. Hey, I can give you directions. Look at their hats. Such fancy hats. I guess they are called stables. It's weird to have a stable without a barn. It just feels weird to me. The wild horses are back. There's a lot of energy. I'm going to Kakariko. They had advanced techniques that were more powerful than anyone had seen. Put them at odds with the king, and they were scattered. Yeah. Go to the north. Yes, I know. I have a dot on my map. I'm good. Yep. Talk to the boys. I'm good. Ah, I hit the button. Wrong button. So, this guy gives you directions, does a little bit of talking. Rensa. This guy over here, he is your main guy. You can sleep. This is kind of like an inn for travelers, if you want, or you can register your horses. I don't want to talk to them yet. I want to show you guys something because I'm gonna do something that I don't need to do while the world is recording because it's tedious and boring for everyone to watch. But I want to go over it. Pretty sure I have access to it. I do not have access to it. Why don't I have access to it? This is odd because it's never happened before. I always have access to it by now. Don't use amiibos. Pfft, why would I not use amiibos? This is what I was trying to do. So amiibos, those are those cool little statues that Nintendo sells and has been selling for many years. I think ever since the Wii came out, or the Wii U. Sorry. Well, maybe it was the Wii. Anyway, if you have an amiibo, any amiibo, you can use a rune amiibo power. This one. And you set it, the amiibo goes on the top. Oh, there, yeah. So you get stuff. The first, I used a Link amiibo, and one of the special abilities of this Link amiibo is that it gives you Epona, which is amazing. So you see I got that little soothe button. Epona already loves you. You know, you're Link, you've got a whole bunch of history. I want you to stay right here for a second. Can you stay here for a second? You good? So that was a special case. Let me get another one. So if you have a Zelda-related amiibo, and you do this, you get a treasure chest, and you get a whole bunch of random ingredients that are kind of grouped together. So like I just used the Link on the horse amiibo, and it gave me mushrooms, different kinds of mushrooms, and a chest that probably has a weapon in it. I can't remember sometimes, but they're always basically the same thing. So every time I use that amiibo, I'll get mushrooms, some random bunches of mushrooms, and a chest that has the same general thing in it. Endura shroom. See, these are things that I would not be finding until I went to other places in the world if I didn't have this amiibo. Yep. Shock arrows. Cool. So, if you have a Zelda-specific amiibo, there's a couple of random ones that give you cool things, like the first time you use a Link, you've got a really good chance of getting an Epona. But otherwise, it'll give you, a bunch of ingredients and a chest with something in it. If you don't use a Zelda-specific one, like here's a Splatoon amiibo that I've got. It gives you a handful of ingredients, not nearly as many as you had before. Some of them only give you like one thing. You get like an apple, and I was like, that was totally not worth the time it took to move the amiibo to the controller. Just wasn't worth it. So I've got a ton of these things because I've been collecting them for a long time. So I've got like 15 different Zelda-specific amiibos, and it takes a little while. You do it once a day. You can't do it more than once a day. But once a real-life day, not a Zelda day, but once a real-life day, you've got the opportunity to do this, and it takes a little while. So I don't necessarily want to have you guys watching me do this for the next 20 minutes or however long it's going to take. But I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna do those amiibo things, and when we come back, we'll talk about horses. So I will see you later.